It's Wednesday, June 9. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson. $50 million has been earmarked to fund a special support package for the entertainment, culture and creative industries. Portfolio Minister Olivia Grange made the announcement while making her contribution to the 2021-22 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Minister Grange also told members that several facilities like Independence Park, Trelawney Stadium and the Port Royal Entertainment Zone have been included in the list of venues as part of the safe reopening of the entertainment sector. We get more in this report from Simone Absalom Gale.
The Ministry of Finance and Public Service had approved a special support package in the sum of $40 million for the entertainment, culture and creative industry. But the fund remained inaccessible due to technical issues with the electronic portal. Minister Grange told her colleagues her technical team had shifted platforms and is now in the final phase of developing an app that will allow more members of the entertainment, culture and creative industries to register to the e-registry and apply for grants.
Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to announce that the promised 40 million that were not accessed has now grown to 50 million. And I am still in dialogue with the Minister of Finance to see how we can further increase funding for the sector as the needs are many. And the Minister of Finance walked just in time because I know he's going to increase those funds, as indicated, that he will certainly look at increasing those funds later on in the year. Thank you, Minister. Thank you so much. The technical challenges that we experienced last year must not be taken to mean that members of the industry did not receive support from their government. We were still able to provide grants to 700 plus practitioners through the CARE program and through special grants from the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport.
Minister Grange said the major challenge this year continues to be the reopening of the wider entertainment sector, and discussions are ongoing with relevant stakeholders.
The resumption of entertainment will have to be a gradual process, and we will also have to consider capacity limits as well as authorized venues where the necessary safety protocols can be implemented.
She says there are plans to declare additional entertainment zones and venues.
Additionally, as with the sports sector, the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport is offering to subsidize the use of these facilities as a stimulus for the entertainment sector, which we know has suffered because of the pandemic. These venues include facilities at Independence Park, Trelawney Stadium, the Port Royal Entertainment Zone, including Fort Rocky and Fort Charles, as well as Civil Heritage Park. We're still finalizing the arrangements while continuing consultations with stakeholders for the reopening of the wider entertainment sector, and will make the appropriate announcements soon.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has said the government is aiming to reopen the sector this summer. According to Minister Grange, he will be addressing the matter on June 22. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gale.
Rick's Cafe in Negril has been cleared by the government to reopen. The announcement came from Local Government and Rural Development Minister Desmond McKenzie at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing. The venue was ordered closed for 7 days, a day after flagrant breaches of COVID-19 protocols were observed in a video that went viral at a Mokafest party that was held at the venue on Thursday, May 27. Minister McKenzie said his team met with the cafe's management on Friday, June 4.
We met with the management last week, Friday, and following the investigations that was done, it was discovered that Rick's Cafe was operating without a place of amusement license, which is a requirement for them to operate. they were in compliance with the certification from the Jamaica Fire Brigade and from the public health body in Westmoreland. We extended the closure of Ritz Cafe for another 4 days and advised them that it is important that they obtain the necessary license in terms of the places of amusement license. They applied to the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, presenting a copy of a insurance policy that is also a requirement in order for the license to be issued. And on that basis, they obtained the license, and therefore the decision was taken to reopen the establishment.
The minister also confirmed the charging of individuals associated with the popular establishment.
There has been questions as to whether or not the police have intervened in this matter. And I can say with certainty that charges have been brought following investigations and questions and answer sessions with the management of Ritz Cafe along with their attorneys, and that charges were laid yesterday against individuals associated with Ritz Cafe. I want to give the country the assurance that the government is acting in the best interests of the people of Jamaica.
Debate on the report of the Joint Select Committee which examined the sexual harassment bill will begin next Tuesday. That's the word from Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange. She gave an update on that bill and the Domestic Violence Act while speaking to the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
Gender Affairs Minister Olivia Grange says amendment to the Domestic Violence Act will include a new definition of domestic violence as not only physical but also psychological, emotional and sexual.
The effect of this important update will mean that for the first time, men or women who control their partners through threats or by restricting their personal or financial freedom could face sanctions in the same way as those who are physically violent towards them. We will also widen the threshold to be met in obtaining protection orders from the court to give greater protection to those who need the orders to keep abusers away.
Minister Grange says the amendment also notes increase in penalty for breach of protection order from $10,000 to $1 million.
We are serious about ending domestic violence. The Chief Parliamentary Council is preparing the amendments, which I expect to bring to this House before the end of this month.
Turning to the report of the Joint Select Committee established to consider the Anti-Sexual Harassment Bill. The Gender Affairs Minister says the report contains recommendations following extensive consultations. She says when this bill becomes law, it will be a blow to sexual harassment by bringing relief to victims, punishment to perpetrators.
We anticipate that the passage of the anti-sexual harassment legislation and the amended Domestic Violence Act will lead to an increase in the reports of cases of abuse, as victims who are now suffering in silence will be emboldened to make a complaint. And Madam Speaker, I just want to indicate here that the sexual harassment bill in particular is going to demand a culture change. Here in Jamaica, there are times when individuals, they don't mean to be rude, but some men like to touch. Some men like to say things. It's kind of a natural thing for our men. And, Madam Speaker, No one is telling them they can't do it, but they must be able to judge if the receiver is going to welcome it. That is going to be the test. So I'm just saying to my colleagues, men and women, that you're going to have to think twice when this legislation is passed.
For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gale.
Tax Administration Jamaica's Constant Spring Tax Office is closed until further notice. According to the TAJ, the closure has become necessary as the Jamaica Fire Brigade conducts an investigation into a fire which was detected in a section of the main building on Monday. Taxpayers are advised to utilize the convenience of TAJ's online service offerings to conduct several transactions, which include the payment for driver's license renewal, fitness certificate, traffic ticket, business-related taxes and deductions and property tax, as well as electronically querying property tax liabilities. The board of the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SURHA, has asked for a report on the recent death of a baby at the Spanish Town Hospital's Accident and Emergency Department. In a release, SURHA said a full report is expected no later than Wednesday, June 9, 2021. The board will be meeting on the following day, Thursday, June 10, to discuss the matter surrounding the unfortunate death of a baby delivered inside the reconfigured space at the Accident and Emergency Department at Spanish Town Hospital. Based on preliminary findings, Dr. Jacqueline Wright James, Senior Medical Officer at Spanish Town Hospital, noted that clinical procedures were followed. She further stated that the hospital management will conduct Phase 2 of the investigation and the outcome will be shared with the board. In the meantime, the management has arranged to meet with the family and to offer counseling and other support where necessary. SURHA has offered condolences to the bereaved family. The government is incentivizing full vaccination for persons 60 years and older with a $10,000 cash offer. We get this and regular market updates in this edition of the Business Report.
Given that 50% of the hospitalized are over 60, if we vaccinate this population, the likelihood of the health system coming under stress reduces significantly.
The government is to provide an incentive of $10,000 to Jamaicans 60 years and older who have been fully vaccinated by the Ministry of Health. Applications open July 15 on the wecare.gov.jm portal. Speaking Tuesday in the House of Representatives, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, outlined how the program can be accessed.
The persons aged 60 and over will need to log on to the WeCare platform at www.wecare.gov.jm and provide, along with their first and last names, their TRN or their government-issued identification, their date of birth, their mobile number or the number that they have access to. If they have an email address, it's not mandatory, but they can provide that. And then the card that you get from the Ministry of Health has the vaccination type, and so far it's all been AstraZeneca, but in the future, who knows, there could be others, and the batch number. And the batch number is on the card that you get from the Ministry of Health. And then to indicate your preferred method of payment, a commercial bank and a remittance.
He clarified concerns about the commercial bank payment option.
And if you have any doubts about your commercial bank account, indicate a remittance company. For those selecting bank accounts, it's essential that the bank account selected is in the same name as the person who is applying. So the person who's over 60, you can't put down your grandchild's bank account or your niece's bank account or your nephew's bank account. You will not be able to get the grant, the $10,000 if you do that.
The finance minister said government is removing the income qualification from the incentive.
In my budget presentation, we had said we would limit it to those with income 1.5 million or less. But that created some confusion, Madam Speaker, as if this was a social program and we were tying a social program with vaccination. And so how could you tie a social? No. That's not what this is. This is not a social program. This is an incentive to be vaccinated. That is what it is. Start and finish.
The incentive can be accessed from a zero-rated website, meaning no internet connection is required. Applicants will be assigned a reference number. Dr. Clark also noted that third-party collection is available for persons unable to collect the cash themselves.
Now, given this demographic group, it's quite possible that there are persons who will be physically unable to get to a remittance company. And so from the beginning, we're building in third-party collection under the following conditions. There has to be a signed letter stamped from a JP authorizing someone to collect on their behalf, and the person collecting has to have a valid government-issued identification, as well as identification of the person who is so authorizing.
According to data from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, as at June 5, just over 7,000 persons 60 and over have been fully vaccinated. The Health Ministry's data indicates that 75% of those who have died locally from the coronavirus are within the 60 and over age group. The Finance Minister urged parliamentarians to encourage Jamaicans to become vaccinated.
The restrictions don't go until this vulnerable population is no longer vulnerable. So in addition to what we're doing here, we encourage members of parliament to encourage your constituents who are in this demographic to sign up and help them to sign up for the grant. And it's $10,000 they'll get.
In Tuesday's trading session, the JSE combined index advanced by 423 points to close at over 422,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 99 stocks, of which 47 advanced, 42 declined, and 10 traded firm. The junior market index declined by 23 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica, Access Financial Services Limited, and AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, Burrito Investments Limited, and Berger Paints Jamaica. Trading firm were Blue Power Group Limited, CAC 2000, 9.5% preference shares, and Community and Workers of Jamaica, CCU deferred share. Mailpack Group Limited was the volume leader with 14.7 million units, followed by Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 6.8 million units, and Sagicor Select Funds Limited financial with over 1.1 million units. In foreign exchange trading for Tuesday, June 8, the US dollar sold for an average $150.48. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $125.76. The pound sterling traded for $212.69, and the euro sold for an average $184.82. In market data for oil, Brent crude futures gained 43 cents to settle at $72.65 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose 35 cents to $70.40 a barrel. For the Business Report on PBCJ, I'm Gabrielle Thompson. When the enamel of your teeth erodes, the tooth is more susceptible to cavities or tooth decay. In today's Living Healthy, Dr. Heather Dawn Lawson-Mares examines what ways you may be eroding your teeth.
Hi, I'm HD, coming to you today from the beautiful shores of the licensed beach, St. Thomas, Jamaica. We're going to be talking about something peculiar today, erosion. Listen. Can you hear it? It's the mesmerizing sound of the Caribbean Sea. The waves come in, they clap the shore, and then they slide away again, preparing to come up again. Very peaceful, isn't it? Maybe not. Because you see, every time the water comes with force to clap the shore, it takes away a little bit. Can you see those rocks over there? They look very jagged. It's because they have been slapped and tossed around by these waves. Can you see these smooth stones? They weren't originally this smooth, but they've been tossed and turned in the waves and smoothed to perfection. Much the same way that our teeth can be eroded with acid. Yes, you would be surprised to know how much we bathe our teeth in acid. Sodas, fruit juices, fruits, coffee, tea, red wine, and the list goes on and on. Ultimately, what happens is that the enamel is worn away, the teeth get shorter and they become more brittle, so they may be sensitive to hot, cold, or even the very same acid that's creating the problem. Acid erosion can also age your look, because as your teeth become shorter, as we would say in Jamaica, your mouth looks mashed. You look as if you don't have a full complement of teeth. You're aged. So, what can we do about it? Let me give you a few tips. If you have anything acidic in your mouth, drink water or rinse with water afterwards. It will dilute the acid. Never, ever, ever brush immediately after putting acid in your mouth. So after you've had your orange juice in the morning, that's not the ideal time to brush your teeth. If you brush immediately after putting that acid in your mouth, you're going to wear away that enamel even faster. So wait about an hour before you brush. One tip that you probably would not expect me to give you is to chew gum, but not any gum, sugarless gum. It allows the salivary flow to increase, so it helps to flush out the acid and keep things neutralized in your mouth. Just a few tips to keep you looking young. These waves are gorgeous to look at and soothing to listen to, but they cause coastal erosion, just like acid erodes our teeth. So be mindful of what you put in your mouth and drink lots of water to flush it out and keep things neutral. Listen, catch us the next time on FYI, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
We now go to the regional news. In Trinidad and Tobago, Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi has clarified the non-disclosure of attorney information. During a virtual media conference on Tuesday, he responded to a headline in one of the daily newspapers which said, quote, AG refuses to disclose attorneys' fees who do work for the state, end quote. At the Standing Finance Committee meeting on Monday, he was questioned about the fees for attorneys by a member of Parliament. Mahalia Joseph Wharton has more.
Can be no lack of transparency with tax-paying dollars. Secondly, let me say that the Office of the Attorney General is subject, like every other ministry is, to examination, to interrogation, and specifically to the exercise of auditing by the Auditor General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi said there has been no refusal to provide the information requested.
The inquiry in respect of legal fees is one that this government will entirely permit and is obliged to do. It is an important aspect of transparency. What we need to do is to make sure that we do this in a very careful and measured approach.
AG Al-Rawi said disclosure was withheld because some matters were of a sensitive nature. One matter, he said, includes a large-scale international investigation involving cross-jurisdictional bribery claims in TNT in a non-Commonwealth jurisdiction. The PIACO civil proceedings from 2004 is another ongoing matter, and the legal fees cannot be disclosed at this time.
I am eager to give you the transparency on these matters. I would love for the population to be talking about the sensitive matters that I have just disclosed.
He assured that full transparency will come at the appropriate time. Mahalia Joseph Wharton, TTT News.
And over in sports, we go to horse racing. Noted trainer Richard Todd has passed away. The former two-time president of the United Racehorse Trainers Association of Jamaica collapsed at his stables Tuesday morning and was pronounced dead at hospital. He was 61 years old. His career tally of winners has placed him 7th on the list of all-time trainers based on winners. Todd was also part of the Supreme Ventures Racing and Entertainment administrative team when the company took over the promotion of horse racing in 2016. He left that administrative post to resume the training of horses. And with that, we bring an end to today's package. You have just watched the news on PBCJ, the People's Station.